So I want to talk about calf development on a bike. Calves are, essentially at the bottom rear part of your leg. Right? That's the muscle group. It's your calves. It's the muscle, excuse me, not muscle group, but it's part of the muscle group. And I want to talk about my own personal experiences cycling calves. So when I was young growing up, I had really, really, really skinny calves. And I think that's a problem because I think you're at high risk for ankle injuries and lower extremity injuries when you don't have muscles, in certain parts of your body. And I definitely had, let's just say, some more ankle issues than I think is normal, when I was younger. And then I biked across the country, which I just made a video about biking across the country. And my legs became huge. My quads were just like literally like a horse. They were huge. My calves were still small. I was like, all right, well, no big deal. I'll keep working like this. And eventually I'm going to get some calves. And that was important to me because I used to play basketball when I was younger. And, you know, I was okay at basketball. Like in my mind, I thought it was okay. I was okay. But I couldn't jump at all. Like I just couldn't jump. There was no jumping. It's like I just terrible. White men can't jump. I mean, I just couldn't jump. And the jumping dynamic is based on your calves, and that's what gives you extra spring. So I was hoping that, cycling, I developed these calves and maybe I can learn to jump a little higher, get a little more athleticism and instantaneous forces. After like roughly 30 years of cycling, I can tell you that it doesn't do anything for your calves. I still can't jump. My calves never improved from cycling. After I got into my 30s, I started putting on weight. Essentially, I used to race at 162 pounds. That was my cycling racing weight. And eventually I put on like, 10 pounds consistently for many years or close to 10 pounds. And my equilibrium ended up at about 205. And when I put on that weight, everything got bigger, including my calves. They were supporting more weight. But obviously I couldn't jump because if you're going to put on 40 more pounds and kick it, like if I go back to 162 now, I'd probably jump pretty good. But it just interesting to me because everybody was saying, I remember when I was young playing basketball, I used to play with some serious players at Temple University. The one guy who could dunk, and he could, like most people dunk that did dunk were doing one-footed dunks. They were running and jumping. And this one guy could just stand under the rim and just jump and dunk. And he was like the only one. He was my height, maybe a little bit taller. And I remember asking, like, how do you, how in the world can you do this? He's like, I bike everywhere. And it's given me all this ability to jump higher. I was like, oh, cool. So I translate that as a calf development thing. Well, I would at this point think that it might have helped him a little bit, but I think genetically he was able to do that. And I think cycling might have helped me a little bit, but genetically I have not been able to do that. So you know, so yeah, kind of interesting. I always thought that my calves would blow up from cycling. They never did. So if that's something you're considering, I wouldn't count on it. So, all right. Thank you for watching. Bye.